Children are always fascinating. Their innocence, joy, and trust are without bounds. Children represent the continuity of the human race. We envy them somewhat. However, they are fragile, vulnerable, and very demanding. As adults, we hold their future in our hands, something we sometimes forget. Population densities in this region in western Kenya range between 5 and square kilometre, the highest figures being found in Vihiga district. The area is a net exporter of labour. The farms support large families, but they are becoming smaller and smaller in acreage with each passing generation. Owing to pressure from increasing population, what was once good land with rich, lush vegetation has over the years been overexploited, leading to a decline in soil fuel, timber, and fodder. Clearly, the population factor has affected development in this region. Not far away in the neighborhood Nyanza province lies Africa's largest freshwater lake, Victoria. This source of the River Nile also has families living close to its shores. However, a few kilometers inland, there are vast expanses of land inhabited by many people who do not have access to clean water. Without clean drinking water, enough food, and adequate sanitation, there is those who suffer most, and sadly those who are the most children, women, and the government role to play in this respect, and because it takes this task seriously, it accepts aid from other countries to fulfill it. Governments of the Netherlands and of Kenya hold regular bilateral meetings regarding it. They agree on projects and programs. The Netherlands provides around 75 million Dutch guilders, which is more than 2 billion Kenyan shillings. It is Western Kenya that traditionally receives aid from the Netherlands. There is great need for accelerated development here, since 40% of the Kenyan population lives in this region. Aid is targeted at basic needs with a special focus on health and increased income. The goal, to help put in place a self-supporting and effective cycle of positive solutions that can be developed further, long after the conclusion of aid programs. Health is generally seen as a basic need. The benefits of efficient health services in any community are always welcome. This class of elderly ladies is crucial to their community. Deep inside the southern part of the Nyanza province, they are traditional birth attendants, exchanging views on antenatal care and learning more from a more experienced colleague. Apart from monitoring mother and child health before birth, they help mothers to deliver their babies safely. The nearest hospital is about 50 miles away. Therefore, their role is critical. Aid from the Netherlands goes towards supporting these humble mothers of mothers-to-be. The program is incomplete without further support to dispensaries where newborns are taken for growth monitoring and immunization. A procedure which is not immediately appreciated by all concerned. Parents become more aware of their responsibilities. A growth monitoring exercise to health workers drawn from this village. Without transport, health services can hardly reach further into area settlements. Here, mothers learn how to make balanced weaning diets, the exercise takes place often, allowing the young mothers to participate in preparing food. In this area, the chances of being infected with malaria from a mosquito bite are the highest in the world. Mothers are encouraged to buy nets that have been soaked in mosquito repellent. This prevents the incidence of malaria. Clean water is also a basic necessity. Safe drinking water, available in sufficient quantities, can make a major contribution to good health and the prevention of many diseases. The Netherlands supports emphasis on rural water supply and sanitation to improve living conditions. This is a common sight in the Nyanza province. Efforts to eliminate this kind of source of water can only be successful by increasing the number of water points in this part of Kenya. As development goes hand in hand with good governance, efforts should be channeled and supported by all institutions involved. Therefore, the water projects work with non-governmental organizations and Kenya government departments. In Western Kenya, this is done in an almost unique way through the district focus system via water and sanitation development committees. During meetings, all institutions involved in water and sanitation agree on one set of approaches in their district. Over the years, numerous approaches aimed at involving the local people towards realizing their goals have been sought by development agencies. Systems that seem to work in this process are those that enable people to participate in every stage of the program. An instance of this is a community in the southern part of Nyanza faced with water and sanitation problems. As part of this plan, drilling for water is required. At Sekutatu, a village southwest of Homa Bay, it takes women an average of 2 hours per day to draw water. This water project will ease the burden by providing boreholes within close proximity of dwellings in this area. The wells are reinforced with concrete culverts during construction in order to avoid collapse and also to keep the water clean. For the water point, all the unskilled labor and available materials are provided by the villagers. Professionals take care of the skilled jobs. In Siaya, a lot of wells are completed and in use. The most interesting aspect is that water points such as this are managed and maintained by the users themselves. Within the family, women perform a very important role as far as health, water and sanitation are concerned. They fetch all the water that is used in a home. The management of water facilities is therefore firmly in their hands. Follow-up studies such as this one have proved that women place high value on these facilities. The role of caretaker is often considered a man's task. However, data shows that women can do an even better job.
It was how many months after the pump had been installed?
A year right now. Yeah,
the supply of drinking water is inseparably linked to sanitation and health education. Today, this group has gathered to build yet more improved latrines. The goal is to build a latrine with a concrete floor. Following a construction plan, the group builds the floor plate. Present are members of the Village Water Sanitation Committee. When the plate is dried, it is placed on the pit, which is constructed with trapezoid blocks that stand on their own weight without mortar. The target is to have full community latrine coverage in this village. This program not only promotes safe disposal of human waste through the construction of low-cost latrines, but also good hygiene behavior. Having access to safe water and sanitation in itself does not guarantee better health. Hygiene education is needed. This is communicated in various creative ways. Through the Dutch-funded programs in the last couple of years, 600,000 more people in Western Kenya have access to safe water. About 70,000 more use their own latrines, and more than 15,000 men and women have received technical training in hygiene education. Like everywhere else, the AIDS pandemic has become a serious threat to both the physical and economic well-being of the residents of Nyanza province. The Netherlands Embassy has made funds available to encourage this theatre initiative in a bid to create new and more effective ways of driving home the good health message. In this case, how to deal with HIV infection. The storyboard helps the audience to retain the theme, using well-known members of any village community, such as the carpenter, the nurse, the schoolboy, the teacher. However, the plot of each is open. The beginning and the end are well known. The cast and the facilitator and the audience fill in the rest of the story. At the end of it all, the audience has identified the problem. They have also found out why it exists and learned how to avoid it, or better, how to deal with it. Income is another very important basic need. The Netherlands' bilateral aid to Kenya is largely devoted to rural development. The projects receiving assistance from the Netherlands are geared to improving the income position and living conditions of low-income groups. Unlike urban areas where people engage in diverse income-generating activities, the rural population in these areas has always depended on land. Western Kenya is endowed with rich agricultural land which has enormous potential. However, this potential can only be realized through the promotion of good land use. Various governmental and non-government organizations play a key role in the development and transfer of new and better techniques in crop and animal husbandry. Improved productivity in the growing of food and keeping of livestock are important in the context of the Kenyan government's policy of self-sufficiency in food. Women play a central role in agricultural production. They are not only the decision makers, but also literally control the means of production in the Western and Nyanza provinces. Therefore, they form a target group in this project. Research scientists conduct a practical session at a farmer's plot of land. This helps to exchange knowledge in a practical manner, whilst allowing the farmers to learn as they participate in the experiments. Chevakali is a roadside market situated in Vihiga district. This is one of the most densely populated places in Kenya, with some parts having as many as 1,000 people per square kilometer. Environmental degradation here is so high that firewood is no longer available. Wood, once provided in abundance by nature, now has a price tag. 2 shillings for 2 pieces. Agroforestry is not a new concept. It has existed since people started practicing agriculture. Once again, people are learning about the value of trees in their lives and how to grow both food crops and trees whilst enjoying the benefits of harnessing yields from both.
We're aware that farmers have been growing crops and trees together since time immemorial. But for us as a research institution, before we can say that we have succeeded, we want to see our farmers looking at the trees and as any other agricultural crop. If they can regard the tree crop on their farm as the agricultural crop, treat it the same way, and even undertake tree growing as an economic activity. If we can see the farmers doing that, then we can say that tree growing has been integrated as an agricultural activity at the farm level.
Through research on overused land, scientific data is gathered on what kind of trees can best revitalize the soil. The school, which allowed use of its land, benefits through a practical session.
Which we are using to improve our soil fertility. We are also looking at another tree, which we call Kajanus kajan, or pigeon pea.
The site is located in a high population area. The studies are based on major land use constraints. Findings are made known to the farmers who implement them as they rediscover this age-old practice. Ajua is a popular game in Africa. Like any other game, the aim is to win by scoring the highest number of points. A similar board is used when eliciting indigenous knowledge from farmers on tree types. The farmer awards points to various trees based on their intercropping potential. The tree is not only good for wood, but also fixes nitrogen into the soil, which is good for crops. The Netherlands' assistance in this area will make a long-term impact, as agroforestry is adopted by farmers who are expected to look at trees as one of their crops. Mr. and Mrs. Opanja are a hard-working couple who practice agroforestry. They enjoy their work on this 4-acre piece of land on which they grow sugarcane, maize, fodder crops such as coleandra and napier grass. They also keep dairy animals and poultry. With the assistance of another Dutch-funded program, which focuses more on putting research findings into practice, they reclaimed this piece of land from a large runoff gully by blocking erosion paths. Mr. Opanja loves his dairy animals. They yield 30 bottles of milk every day. His remarks sound like the best advertisement for zero grazing possible.
Each animal, by this time, I'm earning about 15 kilograms per animal in the morning and 12 in the evening. Coleandra is one of the best fodder trees because the germination is very fast and my animals like them most. You can see they are eating very fast and they look very beautiful because they like eating Coleandra and Leucaena as well.
The sugarcane farming has resulted into pressure on the land, and one way in which the pressure can be released through the agroforestry farming system. This agroforestry farming system has resulted into other enterprises like dairy farming, vegetable farming, whereby this agroforestry has provided better livestock feed that have got lesser expenses on the farmers, and that they are also able to make farmyard manure based on their own farm products, thus reducing the inputs from outside and yet increasing products within the same small farm that the sugarcane has pressured on.
As far as development is concerned, a high priority is given to alleviating poverty by encouraging self-employment, in this case by improving livestock and food production. Other successful income-generating projects that have received the Netherlands' support are poultry farmers in Siaya, Nyamira, Homa Bay, Migori and Kisii. The program was initiated in 1976. The main objective of the program was to increase the production of poultry, meat and eggs amongst a large number of mainly rural households at comparatively low cost, taking into account the Kenyan policy on rural and poultry development. Training is provided in egg production, broiler production, crossbreeding and research. This cockerel is very protective of his status. Kenyan nationals have also received further training in the Netherlands. Since its introduction in 1976, there have been 1,564,000 offspring in the field. 14,000 farmers have participated in training. Perhaps the biggest impact of this project has been in reducing malnutrition and disease amongst children who live in project areas. Investment in dairy animals is expensive business. When the animals are kept in zero grazing conditions, there has to be enough fodder over long periods of time. The Netherlands also focuses its aid towards the dairy industry. Here, the program's objective is to introduce and improve intensive dairy management practices, especially zero grazing, on mixed smallholder farms in 7 high-potential districts in Kenya. The project has contributed to self-sufficiency in dairy products. Kenya has proven that it can be self-sufficient in milk products under favorable conditions. 8,500 small-scale farmers are involved in this program, which incorporates regular extension follow-ups. The beautiful plains of Ahero are the setting for the Southwest Kano irrigation project. The 2,950-hectare project is fed by the Nyando River through a canal system co-financed by the European Economic Community and the Netherlands. It supports 2,450 families. Women's groups have access to short-term loans from a revolving fund managed by the group members themselves, whilst the local NGO manages the affairs of the farmers. The women proved to be good bookkeepers as well. Manual oil presses, recently introduced to the Kakamega area, have influenced the cultivation of sunflower. The oil press owner is the middleman, whilst the farmer is the supplier.
The Ministry of Agriculture helped us to contact farmers, talk to them, and involve them into growing of sunflower. But much is still required to be done, because I think from the seeds we gave, we received a very not adequate sunflower. So we believe the farmers are involved. The few who brought in their seeds, we paid them, and they were very happy.
The oil press creates an immediate market for the farmers' produce, offering better prices than the previous middlemen. These children will be heirs to what is done today in terms of development. The race to improve their well-being today and for the future is on. The challenge is to ensure that the projects put in place stand on their own and give rise to a local capacity able to achieve the goal of self-sufficiency, not only in food production, but also in matters such as primary health care, water and sanitation, environmental protection, and addressing the problem of AIDS. Only then can we be sure that their future is better, and only then will they say that we care.
Thank you.